Spears and Steinberg.
You know what the fuck it is?
Aries and Andy, chewing the jerk.
You know it's time to get this work.
The real raw, gutter, uncut cocaine. No political corrections.
Always sleep.
Fuck being awoke. We discuss politics and jokes.
Scribe, we lit.
There's levels to this shit. Before you was sucking on your mama's tit.
Aries Spears don't give a fuck.
We talk about race a lot, racism,
Sexism.
Much love to my loyal bitch bag holders.
Rollers, clip loaders.
We got them in the folders.
The whole world on our shoulders.
Spears and Steinberg.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm kind of in a, as Bill Maher would say, as we do an ode to what we're going to talk about. When he comes out and he does his opening monologue, he goes, I know why you guys are in a good mood, so I'm going to steal from him since we're talking about him. Here's why I'm in a good mood. I brought to Andy's attention, because you guys know my affinity for the show Real Time with Bill Maher. And when I was looking for the latest episode, when I get off the roads, because the shows air on Friday night, I record them, come home. That's one of my joys on Monday evening, is when I get to lay in bed and watch Real Time. So I was looking for the latest episode, and he didn't have one. And I was like, the show just came back from hiatus, so why is he taking another hiatus? I don't know why the episode didn't exist, but as I was perusing through HBO in demand on my side of town, it said Real Time Bill Maher Anniversary Special. And it's an hour compilation of his journey from politically incorrect till now, all the way up into current date.
Well, 2018 or 19.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, it chronicles that journey. So I watched it and thought it was very juicy. And, something else that I can't wait to mention in regards to this, in regards to Andy, that I've said to him in regards to this show. But anyway, I told Andy to check it out. And let's talk about it. So that is what we're going to discuss. So for those of you, whether you watch the show or not, if you're a fan of the show, you will love it. If you don't watch it, check it out. It's on HBO Max or HBO in demand. Real Time, Bill Maher Anniversary Special. And then that way you could either listen to that first and then hear us, and you could, hear our thoughts and notes, or, just understand what we're talking about. So that being said, one of the first people that came up, very comedic legend, especially in sketch, Martin Short. And I loved when he said in regards to Bill, if you're authentic, there's huge power in that. And this is where I kind of selfishly thought of myself. I think that's my saving grace. I also think that's my Achilles heel is my authenticity. But I felt like, again, excuse me, for a guy that's not had a movie career or hasn't been on TV in a show in 20 years, and I asked myself the question, why are you still relevant? I think that's it. There's an authenticity to me that people see and tell me about. And I think that's very commendable and respectable. I just wish I could capitalize off it the way he does.
But he used his in a platform that no one else had. So that's the reason. We need to come up with your own show. You need to come up with your own show.
Yeah, it's the catch-22 of I need to do that, but
how? Yeah.
And the how can't be what I'd like it to be, which is the traditional, hey, someone goes, I wanna, because I think those bridges are burned. So I gotta figure out another way to storm the Capitol.
Well, if there's no more gatekeepers, which there are still gatekeepers, but not to the sense that there used to be. If you had a great show, you can put it on YouTube and they have to take notice.
Yeah. If you get the numbers.
Right. But then still you have to get the numbers. It's a very doggy chasing his tail kind of way of doing things.
Right.
So, but yeah, dude, I think there's a show in you.
There's a lot in me. Louis can attest to that. There's a show in you that stars me. If you can shit me out, put me in it. That feels like a cartoon piece. Billy Crystal said in regards to Bill, because, of course, they have high-profile comics and respectable entertainers commenting about Bill. So, some comics end up in movies. some sitcom stars, some concert performers. And for a second, I just thought like singles versus who does it all. And I wonder why that is. When you look at a guy like Kevin James, who has had a history of sitcoms, successfully, most notably, one of my favorites, King of Queens. I know he did one after that didn't really stick. And then, he's tried to do movies. And listen, if the guy could, put out a hit movie, he'd be a movie star. But a lot of his movies don't seem to do well. But he does, what I'm saying is, he knows how to work the TV, but he really doesn't do stand-up, even though he does stand-up. And then you look at a guy like Brian Regan, who is a stand-up machine, who has no movie or TV career. And then you look at a guy like Kevin Hart, who does it all. Film, television, the most successful stand-up, arenas. And I just, as a comic, I sometimes go, why is that? Because you'd like to think that funny is money. And if you know how to do funny, then you shouldn't be in any one box, right? You should be able to do it all.
Oh, but when you bring Kevin Hart in, you named three, but he has the fourth thing.
What's that?
He's a pitchman. He does commercials.
Yeah.
No.
He does it all, literally.
No, but this is so important because when you say that and you talk about your authenticity and who you are, to be able to do that, your brand has to be able to either be somewhat muted,
altered, right? Same thing.
No, I'd say muted because that way it's not the forefront, so that you can be the pitch man for people because they don't want your brand to be in front of their brand, especially if you, when you talk about your authenticity. I mean, if we were going to talk about a brand, who is going to be behind you? Who's going to say that's a good pitch man for me? Because your brand is before.
I want to make sure I understand you correctly. I hear what you're saying, but are you also saying that in order to be a part of the corporate machine, you have to be corporate?
Yeah.
Which means if your authenticity is not safe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. It has to be somewhat muted. And the reason I said muted is because their brand has to be able to attach to your brand and not have it come off on the other brand. They want it to be clean. Clean is a nice word for it.
Is there a way to be who I am and have a brand that I can represent? If cocaine were legal, that would be my sponsor.
Well, no, that's interesting because see, that isn't, because if you think about it, as you watch this weed thing happen, weed's being very careful because if they go too far one way or the other, they put themselves in a bad light and they can't have any more light. They have to stay mainstream. It's very funny because you see these guys, they will take risks. They will advertise with people who are authentic weed guys, but they still have to be careful because they're not legal. They're legal in the state, but they're not legal federally.
All over, right.
Yeah. So it's a very complicated thing. That's why Kevin Hart is very interesting to me because he can, like you said, he does them all. But he also is that brand ambassador. He pitches. He's a pitch man. He's working for many companies, and for them to want your face to be part of their brand is a whole nother kind of realm.
I can't be a part of corporate America and say things like Asian voice.
No, you can't do that. This isn't the 50s. In the 50s, you could have done it. So you were born at the wrong time.
In the 50s, they'd got a white dude as an Asian to do it.
Do it, yeah.
Right. Dude, seeing his very first show.
Politically Incorrect. That was my favorite show.
I was on that.
I know. I didn't know you were on that.
Yeah, I don't remember the fourth person on the panel. It was me, Jason Alexander, Man-Cow, and I don't remember the fourth person.
How is Man-Cow?
He's mellowed. He was a dick then.
He was a dick then.
He was a dick. But he still got some Man-Cow edge. But listen, man, and I know, and we talked about it with more. Older, married, kids, you start to mellow, man. Hair loss, weight gain, you start to mellow. But yeah, he was a dirt dude. And this is coming from a dick.
Life has a way of...
life finds a way.
Life will pull out the mirror and show you who you are sometimes.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
If you either like what you see and keep it going, or you don't like what you see and you change.
Yeah.
But you do it, and I know I have it. I got a sea of VHS tapes, in a box in either in my garage or in my closet. I have that episode.
How many tapes do you have?
Oh, dude.
Seriously, like hundreds?
I could build a blockbuster video.
All I'm saying, because there's places you can go and they can make
Transfer them to DVD.
Yeah, and that way.
You know what was the coolest thing I did? And I loved it because, again, I'm such a fight fan. I found a dude in Pennsylvania who could get you whatever you needed sports-wise from VHS and transfer it to DVD. And I got all the old fights. Every old Mike Tyson fight, Ali, Hagler, Hearns, Leonard. So I got that was, so I got to probably try to do that.
Especially if you can find those ones, the key ones that you really like.
Yeah, yeah. And I had one great joke, something about Mike Tyson and OJ on Politically Incorrect. And Bill Maher had already done Mad TV. He did when we used to do this skit called Real Motherfucking Talk. Like Politically Incorrect, a sit around. And I was kind of like the Leroy Jenkins. I was the black brother with the leather jacket and the beret, and we would just talk real shit. And he did an episode. Nice guy. I'd love to run into him again just to see if he kind of remembers me. I don't know if and this is when I first started out on Mad, so I wasn't like any known comedic force.
How was Jason Alexander?
Nice. I worked with Jason twice. I worked with him on Politically Incorrect and this movie I did with Snoop Dogg called Hood of Horror. And he was one of the dudes in the movie. Nice guy, man.
So out of the incarnations of this Politically Incorrect to Real Time,
right?
Which format did you like the best? Or do you have an opinion on that?
Nah, I think they're one and the same because once you get the panel, it's the same thing. You're having a discussion with people about,
I like the Politically Incorrect because he had more comics on. And comics have a different insight. We have, right. I'm not saying me, but in general, most comics have a different way of looking at things and it changes the perspective. So when you have them with a guy who's a very intelligent, working, like whatever his job is, politics, science, whatever, there's a different perspective coming from the comedian side.
And again, this is why, I say I tip my hat to him and guys like him, a la Lewis Black, who really stand-up wise, comedically does politics as jokes.
Yeah.
I don't think maybe out of 100%, 3%, I've seen Lewis do jokes that have nothing to do with politics. Bill Maher is 100% political stand-up. And I just, as a student of the game, I just respect what I can't do or I can't do well or as good as the people that do it. And he's a master at that, which brings me to my question. But before I ask the question, I don't know if this guy's a stand-up. John Oliver about last week tonight.
Yeah.
Is he a stand-up?
I don't know. I would assume that he had. Well,
he might be. I don't think I've ever seen him do stand-up. But I bring that up because his show, like Bill Maher's show, is a political satire show. Have you ever seen it?
Yeah.
Do you like it?
No.
Wow. What do you? Well, for the record, though, do you like Real Time with Bill Maher?
Yes.
What's the difference to you? What makes you?
One, it's what I like about it. John Oliver is using a lot of clips,
right?
And he's using clips to bring his point across or to make fun of something. The authenticity of you don't have anything like that to fall back with on Politically Incorrect or Real Time.
Right.
You're going at it with Bill, and like John Oliver's show, you're never going to see what's his name, Ben Affleck. Implode.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Because it's real.
It's just him in clips.
Yeah, him in clips. And, and it's very, let me use a British way of saying it. It's very cheeky. It has
it's very cheeky, isn't it?
Yeah, it has that, like a little quips.
I see.
And it's very good. It's good in that aspect unless and I'm not taking anything away from you. If you like this show, enjoy the show. It just doesn't, I don't enjoy it because if you watch this thing with Bill Maher, you're going to hear about the production room and the writer room, and then they go in. So that John Oliver is just the face of what is going on, but there's so much more going on behind the scenes. They find the clips, people bring in the clips, then they write the jokes and they put it on. And then John Oliver goes with his personality and everything and puts it together. I'm not saying he's not good at it. He is good at it. I just don't enjoy the show. It's to me, it's
fair enough.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you said it because this brings me to the question that I wanted to ask you. And then I'll go back to my other question. And I noticed this and this is why I said this. One of the guys was like, yo, when you come on Real Time, you got to bring your A game. And this is why I tip my hat to Bill Maher, because as funny as I know I am comedically, I know that show is out of my depth. And when I said to you, I think it was last week, how do you think you would do on that show? I see you doing well because even though I know, well, I don't know, but it seems like whenever we talk politics, especially conservative versus liberals, you seem to navigate those waters pretty well. And again, when I watch guys like D.L. Hewley is perfect for that show because D.L. does go in the realm of politics, which is why I know from watching him on that show, and he's just a smart, savvy dude, D.L., mentally, that I think he can hang in anything, which is to say, I've seen him do jokes about everything. Again, where a Lewis Black, a Bill Maher is strictly political. So back to you, I notice when we talk on this podcast and whenever you go, well, I want you bring up things politically that we should talk about. I always say to you, hey man, you got to take the bull by the horns and lead the way because I can think I can chime in, but I'm not a political dude.
I just, on the show, there's people that are really about what they're talking about. I mean, there's scientists on the show, there's politicians on the show, and I think that I could navigate. I think I could stay afloat, but I don't think that I would. I don't feel like I would add. I would add some comedic structure or fun to the show, but I don't think that I would hold my own in the way that I have 2 or 3 guys coming at me and I have to do it. What I did notice,
you talking about in terms of rebuttals?
Yeah, and going back and forth. What I did notice, because I brought up that Ben Affleck part. Ben Affleck had points. I do believe Bill Maher, especially at that time, as far as the Muslims go, he was deep. Like he was like, it's this, and I understood his points, all of his points. Ben Affleck had points to make because he was specifically speaking about American Muslims and what he didn't do. And this is what I learned from watching this Ben Affleck thing, his meltdown, is you can't get mad. The second you get mad, you lose your place.
But is it mad or is it passion?
You got to keep your passion at a level that sounds intelligent.
Hear, hear. Damn.
And that's what
that's the perfect way to put that.
Yeah.
Can you do both?
Yeah, you can. You can be passionate, but you have to be smart, and you have to. You're going against 2 guys. He was going up against 2 guys.
Seemed like he was going against everybody.
He was, but he didn't state his argument. His argument should have been because Bill Maher stated his argument for him. Because Bill Maher in that interview says American Muslims can practice Islam any way they want. See, so then he could have, if he would have slowed down and said, but this is precisely what you're doing, Bill. You're conflating American Muslims with the extremist Muslims, and we have to be able to be careful because we have Muslims in this country who are trying to do to transfer from being what they're from or where they're from or how they practice to an Americanized way of living life. And he didn't calm down enough to be able to say that. And all he did was say how ridiculous they sounded to him, which made him sound ridiculous. So,
when I read the comments, after seeing the special, I ran straight to YouTube and pulled up that clip. And I read the comments, and man, the people were shitting on Ben hard. He don't know what he's talking about. He's out of his depth, and went on to just shit. And, again, if I claim to know politics, or had a better handle, I think, on what they were talking about, maybe I could form an opinion to go, nah, I think Ben was, but I don't know. But I think that if I get the gist of what he was saying, what I heard in some of that was, stop Bill making all Muslims out to be. What you're saying is extreme.
right.
When there are Muslim people who the majority of, as Muslims would say, the Quran teaches the opposite of what the terrorists say it's about. Most Muslims, the majority of Muslims are about peace and love, whereas this small percentage of radicals and crazy motherfuckers are the ones who spew the nonsense. And of course, the media, stereotypically puts its light on that more so than most Muslims are peace-loving people who believe in the right thing, in the right way. And I think that's what it felt like Ben was trying to convey versus Bill being extreme.
I think he was trying to convey that, and he could have used the American Muslims in this country for the most part. I would agree with what you said. But when we go outside of the United States and you go to radical Islamic countries, that isn't the same. And that's what Bill's point is. These people, the people in these countries, they were saying it was an overwhelming percentage, over 50%, that even though that there was the extremes, then the more moderate were still in favor of a more radical way than what we would look at it here. You got to understand too, and this didn't get covered in there, is that the imams in certain countries run the country. They're the political side of the country. So when you take, and we're dealing with this in this country right now, when the religious side starts to run the country, things go a little crazy. And that's what we deal with right now. Roe versus Wade is a big religious argument, not just a regular argument. There's religion involved in this, and there's people coming from religious sides about a woman's choice. So we're watching that happen here right now, but that is a more radical idea that's happening in certain countries. I listen. This is where I would fall apart, because I know my idea is correct, but then I would have to give reference, and then to which countries, and then I'd have to speak on those countries. And then there's other countries that are predominantly Muslim countries that no one's having a problem with, and no one's addressing those. So I see what, like, Ben's side, and I see the other side, but there had to be if Ben could have had a more passionate but more toned down voice.
So you think his message got lost because of his? Yeah,
because he just started to fight with them, and he didn't need to fight with them. Their point was valid. He needed to bring up another valid point. Just two sides don't have to be completely wrong. They can both be right.
When I've done, I haven't done a slew of them, but I did Conan 7 times. I did back when Quincy Jones first launched the Vibe talk show, and it was Chris Spencer as the host and Sinbad. I've done a couple talk shows, and they usually what's the word?
I know.
They give you the pre-interview. They basically ask you, what do you want to talk about? What we're going to cover. So it's not off the cuff.
Do they talk? Does the host come in and talk to you, or is it just like one of their people come in and go over the questions?
Yeah, the producers.
And then they ask you if you have anything that you want to. Okay.
So I'm saying that to say, because they alluded to in this, that this is like a high wire act. You never know what to expect, which I believe some of that is true because it's HBO. But I'm wondering if they came to you and gave you this is what we want to cover, and gave you enough time to do your homework, you still don't feel you'd be able to?
If I had time to cover it, but you were on Politically Incorrect. Did you have a pre-interview? No, I wouldn't think so.
But that was more of a...
But that's what Maher wants. He wants it to be off the top. And look at the people who do well. You have to stay calm. You have to articulate your position in a calm and organized manner. And those are what the winners on these shows do. But passion is great, but passion doesn't get you anywhere.
Well, you need a little bit of passion.
Yeah, but passion on its own.
Oh, no. Yeah, it has to be a culmination of things.
Yeah. And you have to have the other ingredients. Passion alone doesn't get you anywhere.
Yeah. No. What do you think makes politics so difficult to make funny? Because Bill said at one point, the cardinal rule is the one thing as a comedian you don't want to touch, the most dangerous, difficult thing to touch is politics.
All right. I don't necessarily 100% agree with that. But what I think that makes it difficult, and the thing that changes, is your audience. And once you establish that this is who you are, I think your audience finds you. Listen, someone who's a true conservative, Lindsey Graham is not going to go see Bill Maher in Vegas. It's not going to. And I think once you get your footing where people know that this is who you are, because there's a lot of these conservative guys right now that are comedians that are moving through this new conservative network because no one wants these conservative voices on college campuses. They don't appreciate them in any other place. So there's a big network of conservatives, which I think it's needed only because people like Joe Rogan, who I don't feel is conservative, I think he's out for enlightenment. He's trying to get as much knowledge as he can. He's trying to open up the doors for this to be more of a conversation. And he's being labeled as a conservative because he doesn't go along with the typical liberal talking point. So I think it's necessary, but these guys find a way, and then you find your crowd, and then you build off of that, and then your confidence builds, your comedy builds, and you're fine with it. I just don't think that me or you, it's for me, it's like last night. I'm going to tell you last night, late show. We're in Cincinnati, predominantly a black show.
Yeah.
I don't change anything. It's not like I go out there and I have jokes that I go, hey, this is going to be this.
Let me pull out my black shit.
And yeah, so I have to go and I have to be okay with knowing I might not get the whole crowd very often. But I have a rapport with a certain amount of people in the room. They'll come up to me after the show and go, that was great. I go, we were laughing our ass off. I didn't know these other guys aren't. I had someone say the room wasn't smart enough for what you were doing last night.
Didn't that feel good?
It does, but
so because it's not you.
Yeah.
All right. But
I wasn't going to blame me anyway. Right. But that being said, I've developed that skill where I can have be in your audience and just know how to work that. And so I developed those few people that came that really did enjoy that. And so over time, if I was a younger man that was really trying to get this, over time, I'd come back to the city. I would have got emails from everybody. I would let them know it was coming. I would have developed that crowd so that they would have been into my work that way. I think that's what happens with political. Now, the show that he does, it's on regular television. So when he did Politically Incorrect.
That was ABC. Yeah.
ABC, that's a bigger deal. Like, because you're not now, you might put this out in a comedy room. You're doing it for your crowd. Now, you developed a crowd. But when you put something on ABC, now that's the whole country, the critics, the whole
corporate.
So now it's a different animal. And I think that's where I see like somebody like Bill Maher is amazing. Because you see these comics that do the dinner, the press conference, the press dinner where the president comes sometimes.
Natural correspondence.
That's a one-shot deal. They can do it. They can be funny. They can get in. They can get out. It doesn't. Bill Maher's doing this every week.
Yeah.
That's a whole different animal because you don't have the luxury of just the people that like you and will cater to your comedy or be catered to your comedy. Now you got the whole world and the critics and the people that you're making fun of. It's a different story.
Gabriel Iglesias once said, I think I saw him do an interview with Big Boy on the radio show. He said, the three things I'll never touch, politics, race, and religion, because those are alienators. And listen, it's amazing. I don't know the guy personally. I met him once recently. But I think I get the sense Gabriel's a very different dude away from stand-up. Like he's raw, but he to use his own title or his own name, fluffy. His shows are very fluffy, meaning safe, very safe. He won't, and he just said, I won't touch those three subjects.
Well, the little bit I know about Gabriel, and I've had just a few run-ins with him throughout the years, very nice. Openly, but in the back room when he's going over the show and he's going over with his guys, he's serious. So
he like James Brown.
Yeah.
Mr. Bird, that's $5, Mr. Bird.
He may be a little bit like James Brown.
Pay the note right, nigga. Ooh.
So but I think though the people that grow up, this is where I think comedy can be enhanced, or someone doing comedy about politics. Right. If you grow up and you're one-sided, the other side sounds very horrible. And then if anybody brings that up in your family, they go off. And if you have another side that's the other way, they go off. But when you have sides that like to argue, and I come up from people that like to argue, They argue. So this guy's good, this guy's bad, and they are. That's when you can get funny out of it because now you don't feel so trapped in a box that you have to live in. I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican, and you identify as that. When you can identify that both sides are bullshit and you can make fun of both sides, I think it could be more fun. I've never done it to any extreme extent, talking about it, only because it's not my crowd. And I'm not trying to, I'm already doing something different in your room than I'm not going to go up there and try to do political stuff on top of already not doing the stuff that someone would expect from an opener in your room. Would I like to try it a little bit sometimes, especially when Trump was there? But I wanted to go a different way when Trump was there, only because it was too easy to tell people what they are. We already knew.
Right.
But I wanted to find like those things that he does, but then that you could say were good, but then make fun of how he got there. That's what I would have had fun with. But if you don't know me and you would have heard me saying something like where it sounds like I'm being positive, I think people would have went with, even on this podcast, when I would try to say, this is what it's happening, people would just hear me and tune out because it was just, he's trying to be positive, pro-Trump. And that's not what I was doing. So I think it is a tightrope, man. When you do this, it's a tightrope. And I think that's why you are either all in when you do this or you're not in at all.
Yes, I agree. That's why listen, I would, if somebody came to me from the show and said they want you on the show, my ego in terms of wanting to be seen, and that's not a bad credit to have in your resume.
Yeah.
A respectable show like that. So for those reasons, I would want to say yes, but I'd be scared to death because I'd go, you might be swimming out of your depth here, man. You know what I mean?
I love Bill Burr's.
Oh, what he said. I'm trying to remember what he said, but what he said,
basically like a class he's not going to pass or something.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was, and Bill's good. Bill's quick. Bill's witty. He reads. You would think.
Well, I like what Jim Carrey said to that note. He goes, it took us a long time, but we finally got you. He goes, yeah, I had to read.
Yeah.
Fucking hilarious. Dude, I love this. This is a dick hard moment for me because I love to see motherfuckers get checked. When the political analyst who was working under the Obama administration, Paul Begala, checked that bitch who said, Obama needs to stop blaming his predecessor. We need to move on. And he said, not nearly enough. And then the guy brought up Reagan. And she had the audacity with some chutzpah to say, well, I wasn't born then and I wasn't around then. And he goes, well, I wasn't born during the French Revolution, but I know about it.
Yeah.
Do your homework, bitch.
Well, if you're going to be critiquing and criticizing.
And have the audacity with arrogance.
But see, you don't hold this. Dude, this is where I have fun with this with you. You don't come out.
Is this passion or anger?
It's passion because you don't come out for anybody else but Obama. We could talk shit about every president in the world. But those are deep racial reasons for me. Right. So you come to it with a different. If they would have said it about a different president, you would have went, "Oh, that's cute." But you wouldn't have been, "Yeah, we got it. Damn right."
Right. What was the guy? What was the black dude? Oh God, he recently passed from COVID too. The black dude where Bill Maher said, "You have a sign behind you that says something slave."
Oh! I know who you're talking about.
Not Ben Carson.
No. Ben Carson did pass though, didn't he?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know what he passed from, but he did pass. But this is another guy. I brought him up to say, listen, if he was the president, it's a hard argument for me to stand behind the race card when you're that fucking stupid. When you're that, you know what I mean? Again, I don't want to get into an Obama thing, but besides the racial reasons that I have, the man went to Harvard. He was one of the most intelligent people on the planet. Certainly, if not the most intelligent, one of the most intelligent presidents we've ever seen. And as a black man in America, in that position where the target is on your back and stays on your back, I got to root for you. I got to root for that.
I got to say, this is overlooked on Obama. Obama, you could, yes, take his education, take his intelligence, take all that. But that's not what made him the president that he was, that made him popular, that made him electable.
What was it, Andy?
He had a common touch. When he talked, everybody understood what he was saying.
It's like when I talk, you feel my hand touch you in a good way.
Seriously though, when he spoke,
I was like a 65-year-old black woman named Miss Beulah Jeans. And when I touched you, it felt like you put your face in the bosom of my cocoa buttered tits.
listen, there's a lot of people that come on shows and they want to flaunt their intelligence.
Right.
To show everybody how smart they are.
Yes.
Obama never did that. That's what people don't ever notice.
But he didn't have to. It was natural.
Because
it wasn't forced.
And he had a common touch so that people on any level of this social economic country that we live in could relate to him. And no matter how he said it, you went, okay, that's a good point. Or that's not, or I don't agree with that, or I agree with it, but you understood what you agreed with and what you didn't agree with. That's a very, you could say that George W. was like that, but George didn't speak in correct sentences. So there's a difference. Do you know what I mean?
The terrorists. War on terror and terrorists.
There was something with Obama in that fashion that you go, okay, I got it.
I will never forget, to your point, this is the true crux of George Bush's intelligence. The saying goes, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. George Bush went, and this has actually happened.
Yeah.
He went, there's a saying, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. See, because you can't fool me twice. You can only fool me once.
You forgot the saying, but that was pretty good.
And again, let me just say, had that been Obama, see, I told you them niggas are stupid. And this is our president. You get a black man who can't even speak. But that's where our niggas are. Niggas can't talk. Niggas ain't eloquent. You see, he's dumb. Look, this is the representation of black people stereotypically are stupid and lazy. I'm rooting for the brother, man. Harvard versus fool me twice. See, because you can't fool me twice. You can only fool me once. Get the fuck out of here.
He should have said it in Spanish. He probably would have done better.
Maybe. I wish I knew Spanish because that lends itself to a great joke.
It was great though when you hear him speak Spanish because he still sounded the same in Spanish that he did in English.
Hablo español. Sí, because better que sí. No, I don't know.
but you get the
dude.
the
I
flow.
love when the politician and the early years. I'm a fan of real time, so I know. But in the early years, he used to do the Zoom, so to speak, before Zoom when he would talk to a politician. And I like how the female right-wing conservative on gay marriage said that allowing gay marriage would be a flow to undermining the sanctity of what marriage is supposed to be. And this is the brilliance of a comedian. And Larry David, before I would say that, said the three qualities of being a great comic: smart, funny, brave, and then he added quick. And to Bill Maher, to the politician who said that, he goes, but no matter how hard you try to stop the flow, or can you really stop the flow no matter how hard you try to put your finger in the dike?
Yeah, that was...
See what I'm saying? Like that, that's a gift, man. To be able on the spot to put that together, and that's a gift.
And why I do agree, though, that you have to be quick because the situation presents itself. If you're not quick, you're not going to get there.
And once you miss the boat, you've missed it.
You missed it. And so, that goes with the timing, that it has to all be together. That was great to watch how it happened. And you knew that it took place because he doesn't know what she's going to say or how she's going to say it. So
that's the high wire.
But the thing with the conservatives, and this is my problem, because I think I identify more as a conservative, not as a Republican, as a conservative. And the reason I said that, because if Republicans were honest, they would have got out of the way of gay marriage because it's not, the Republican idea was supposed to be let government get out of your house, let you earn your money, let you move forward, and that's why initially the black community was more in tune with the Republican Party for years, because that was about being out of your house. The government wasn't supposed to be in there. And it's this whole shift where really what happened is the religious right got involved in the party and started taking over parts of the party. And that's how you got this intertwined weaving of where we are right now. And to me, that's one of the biggest problems with the party. I couldn't be a Republican because of that, but I feel more conservative. I believe in like when I'm driving and I see people have created new ways of driving and they do different things, or when I come to a stop sign, someone waves me to go through the stop sign, even though clearly they were there before me. I'm like, fuck, this is not how this shit works. There's a reason why we do things a certain way so that it works for the other 100 people that are around us. It's not just about me and you at that moment at the stop sign. Because if I go, someone might be trying to cross the street, someone might be walking, there's a lot of other things that go into it. Just do what you're supposed to fucking do. And I like that. That's part of like more like conservatism, because you know what your role and you do the job. The liberal side is, we can do whatever we want. And that doesn't work in a society. It really doesn't. And this is where I get a little, it gets a little unwound for me in this, because I do want people to be able to do whatever they want, but not when it's in a group of people, because that fucks up the group. So, I have some issues, but that's why I like this show so much, because I find myself agreeing or disagreeing with people that I think I should be agreeing with. I disagree, and people that I think I should be disagreeing with, I'm agreeing with. So that's why it brings that out in you. This is why this show is important.
How much did it give you a Chubby when Bill Maher, and I think this was some of his passion mixed in with it, a hinge of anger and I think this was in regards to after Trump became president, when he looked at the camera and said, "Media, do your fucking job."
Yeah, I loved it.
Right.
I loved it because
when I saw that, I went, "Oh, yeah, he's gonna love that."
Yeah, it is the point. It is the point, because I don't really want to. There's something that's just happened right now, and I'm not going to go into it, because we can get into this, because I knew this was going to happen a little bit in this because of politics. But there's something that Biden just did, and it has to do with his border policies. And AOC came out and said, "Mr. Biden," and he kind of hemmed and hawed about, this country and what it means, and how, maybe you should reevaluate this decision you made. Something into that. I'm paraphrasing everything. And the reason I'm paraphrasing it is because if it was Trump that was in office, the media would have came straight out. She wouldn't even had time to make this comment. They would have said, this is Trump's new racist policy. And this is what I don't like about the media, because they allow one side to be called racist and the other side that is advocating for almost the same identical thing. And it's not a racist policy. So get your fucking shit together and find out actually how the log floats. And what I mean by that is, as it's going down the river, a log bobs up and down. We get it. There's different things that are happening. But try to stay in the middle of the log, and you can stay on top of it. These motherfuckers want to run to the end. And that's what they did. And they put us in this situation where all we're doing is fighting now. And we're fighting so much. And after Trump left office, the Biden administration removed very few of Trump's policies. The only thing that they really took themselves out of is in his fuel policies with the oil. And that's it. The other policies are still hanging in there, and no one's saying shit about it.
And that's the media's job, you're saying?
Yeah, that is the media's job, because for the most part, the American people are allowed to stay home and be dumb and have the news and the media come in and let them understand what's going on. And that's not what they're doing. There was an elitist to the media before, where they wanted to come in and they would give us what's happening in Washington. And that's not happening. They're giving their perspective of what's happening, not what is actually happening. They're just giving us their perspective and how it fits in their lives, their world. I just, come on, man. And that's what Bill was talking about, because the Democrats aren't holding themselves. The liberal side isn't holding themselves responsible, because they could do great things. They could have done great things, but they're not.
I think I have some throwaway questions for you, because that to me felt like most of the meat, the hearty meat to what I wanted to talk about. So I think I have some. Oh no! There's one more big piece of meat. Bill Maher talks about he got fired from politically incorrect.
Yeah.
And what got him fired, a la he wasn't being safe for the corporates, was, I think it was September 17th, 6 days after 9/11. And he basically said the terrorists were not cowards. We're the real cowards because we launch missiles from 2,000 miles away in our safety in safety to bomb the enemy, whereas these guys committed to killing themselves on staying in the plane as it smashed into the building. And of course, just like what we talked about with Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, 9/11 was such a horrific, historical, on our turf event that it didn't matter how right you may have been in your opinion, opposing opinion, you were going to catch hell. And Bill caught hell. My question is, do you agree with what he said?
Do I agree with? I agree with what he said, in theory, but the way he said it on national television, I think he would rephrase how he said it. He could say the same exact thing, but I would have said it in a different way.
How do you say that differently where it's okay?
I don't think that you can say it where it's okay, and still is going to cause you. It still could cause the end of his show at that time. But I probably would have.
Okay.
I probably would have said something closer to when you let me asking you making it more of a question. I mean, who is a coward and who is fighting for their whatever, however you want to word it, but the person who's lobbing bombs from thousands of miles away that has no injury, but only injury to the people that they're lobbing the bombs at, or the person who would stay in the bomb and take it into and knock it down. I mean, because then you're giving people the opportunity to understand what he was trying to say. Because what he was really trying to say, and I don't think it ever got through, is that this is a problem. Because we sit in our safety of our American boundaries, and we in wartime we're doing things with drones and things that aren't really going to cause us loss of life.
Which is intelligence to me.
It's intelligence, but that's true. It is intelligence, but we're going to take on an entity that we don't even know where they're at, because you don't know where they're at. You don't know what country they're coming from, where they're at,
and what cave they're hiding in. But go ahead.
And they're going to come here, and their life
and bring the fight to us.
And their life doesn't have the meaning that ours has to us. I shouldn't say their life, but they're looking for the next world while we're living in this one. And so that's a hell of a person to take on. And that's what Bill was trying to get through. But he using the word cowardly, I think, is what really did it for him, because
we're cowards.
We live in our safety. That's how it should have been said. That's one of the things he could have said.
Because I was going to say, when you were saying it, I'm in my mind, I'm trying to be ahead of you, and I'm going, so basically let the audience decide.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm going, aren't you being slick? Like you're trying to find a way to put it in our hands, but you're still suggesting that you believe. When you go, so aren't the real, yeah, I see what you're doing, but you know what I mean? Like you try to put it in the audience hands, so you assume no responsibility. But for you to even pose a question means you must feel a certain way.
You do. And I think he could convey that and feeling that way, because what you're saying is we're in trouble. We're in trouble because these people don't hold life the same way that we hold it. And we want to preserve our lives where they're willing for their God, for their beliefs. They're willing to take themselves out, and their rewards come in their next life. And if you could convince people that your reward isn't today, that it's in your next life, then this life becomes meaningless, and you can do whatever you want to do. And that's what he was saying that we're going to be up against. And we were doing things in a cowardly way, and I don't agree with that statement. We were doing things, as you said, in a smart, safe way. But when you get comfortable in that smart, safe way, that now you have a problem.
I think it's bravery versus stupidity, because the point of boxing is to hit and not get hit. So if you want to apply that same thing to war, yeah, safety, drones, computers, technology. If we want to fight this fight, it ain't like the old days when, motherfuckers was like the Patriot with Mel Gibson and everyone Braveheart.
Yeah.
Two ends meet on a field and collide. Yeah, if I can kill you without being scratched, yeah.
But that's not the fight we were going to have. That's the point. That's not the fight we were going to be allowed to have, because we could lob them, but that's not going to stop them from coming over. That's not going to stop them from doing the damage that they figure out how they can inflict.
Right.
And that was his point, and I think it got lost in the word coward.
That was the trigger word.
Yeah.
Right.
Because no one wants to they don't want their country being referred to as cowardly. They would want it referred to, like you said, as smart. These things it could even be reworded as these things may have, in all reality, these are the smart ways to handle aggression. But when they bring aggression to you, you no longer have that choice.
You know, he said that shortly after 9/11, the message from the president was, if you don't go back to doing what you do, the terrorists win.
Yeah.
And he had a great quote where he said, and to getting back to what he does, he goes, hey, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be politically incorrect. We are going to hurt feelings. People are going to get their feelings hurt, so actual people won't. You know, that to me sums that up.
Yeah. But
you know, if what I'm going to say is going to hurt your feelings, so be it. But let that happen so actual people don't get hurt.
But I wish that this doc that they put out, this little montage, that they interviewed him again today and added that 15 minutes of it today, because I think we're in a worse place than we were before.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this, what he was talking about, wasn't the tide's turning and we're going to figure this out. The tide it's still coming in. It's going to crush us all, because really,
you don't think it's slowing down or changing a little bit?
No, more people are speaking out, but it's not changing because people are still.
Nothing lasts forever.
Nothing lasts forever. But I'm telling. I said this to someone, and I hate to be so flippant about the way that I say this, but I said we're either going to implode or we're going to end up in a war that makes us all become Americans again. Because actually,
are you ready for a war?
Actually, after 9/11, you know, we were all like, you know, can't fuck with us. We're Americans.
Kumbaya.
Yeah, and everybody was American. There was no black, white,
right,
green, purple, blue. We were all Americans.
But to remain like that goes against what America is.
No, it isn't what America is. And I got to say something that you're going to probably disagree with me, but I'm going to say this because I know we're fighting right now, and we do need to fight for what we believe America is. Let me rephrase that. We're supposed to call America out for not honoring what America said it was supposed to be in the Constitution.
Right.
Okay. Here's my problem. And I'm just going to say this, and I think this problem is going to correct itself because of years and age. I mean, it might not. I can be completely wrong, but I'm a Gen Xer. You are part of Gen X too, and then we have millennials, and then we have the Gen Zs and all this, and they're getting these weirder as we go along. But here's where my problem is: the baby boomers, or to 1964. These motherfuckers have controlled our government forever now. They have not gotten out of the way. They're not part of the technological revolution. They don't understand how things are working, but they control it. Trump, Biden, everybody, even Obama is part of the, and he was, I would take that again, but all these younger people that understand where we're at, and I'm the oldest, I'm 65. I'm the oldest. I'm 57. We never had a shot to do these things, to fix these things. We're part of, our age group is part of the after civil rights, where we feel like this is supposed to be going this way and getting better. But we have people that have clogged up the top of the funnel and have kept themselves in there for so long that we haven't been able to make the overwhelming changes that I think we should have made years ago. But they won't get the fuck out of the way. Now, there's some other people that have gotten in, but you have to get in from such a liberal side. That's an AOC. You have to get in from such a liberal side that they come out and support you. But regular American, I'm not saying that she's not a regular American. I mean it is regular, middle of America, not in the right, not in the left. That group is what I'm talking about. The people that just want a good society. No one's come along to move them because hardly anybody is from our generation and sees things the way that we see them. I'm hoping that listen, Biden, Trump, whatever, those two don't need to be here. I mean, they can be here on the planet, but they don't need to be in office anymore. We're too old with old ideas.
One of them doesn't need to be here on the planet, but go ahead.
Neither of them should be in office anymore.
I'm not saying office, I mean on the planet.
Oh. Be careful. He might move to Mars and try to run it from there.
I want to move to Mars. I'm not even trying. Okay.
But we haven't had that opportunity. And I'm not, this isn't an ageism thing. I'm not again, but you've had years to do things and make this, and we're still fighting about the same things that you've been fighting about. Women's rights, women's rights, women's right to choose. Where have we gone? We just did a big loop. That's all we've done since these guys have been in office.
Right.
So we got to fucking move on. We got to move on to a more progressive idea, even whether it's conservative or liberal, but the ideas have to be more progressive than this. This is ridiculous. I'm tired of doing the same thing over and over because that's by definition, that's insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
Yep.
And this is what we keep doing. So I hope there's some changes that are coming with this next generation. And I'm going to be honest, my Gen X, our group, we're gonna be leapfrogged over. We're not even going to get that much say because they're going to go right to millennials because they're up. They're in the age group that's ready to produce, and we became lethargic.
A couple throwaways, dude. I got to tell you, the female political analyst. I don't know if I'm saying it right. SC Cup or CC Cup. I think it's SC Cup.
It was SC Cup.
SC Cup. Okay, let me ask you. Okay, between these three, and I feel like I already know who you're gonna say. I think SC Cup, Sarah Silverman, and Megyn Kelly are so fucking fire. Of those three, who would you like, as Jay Moore said it to Tracy? Who could you see yourself finger fucking on a basketball court?
This is such a man question. And you always talk about, I want some women, listen to the podcast. Then you ask the most male dominated fucking.
But the women, they know. That's why they have bitch badge holders.
Okay.
They know.
So that being said, what are we talking here? Just
who would you love to throw a bang into of those three?
Of one time?
Yeah. But first of all, do you think those three are hot?
Yes.
All three? Oh, okay.
Yes.
SC Cup or she. Oof.
Oh, hey, wait. Oh, shit. What's that game called? Fuck.
Oh, marry,
fuck, kill.
Kill. Ooh.
Those three.
Well, I'll take kill out for, I'm not killing any of those three. I'm not, somebody else belongs in that category.
But those are the three. You already picked them. You have to marry, fuck, or kill them.
Oh,
I can give you mine on this one.
Oh, Jesus. Marry Sarah Silverman because she's a comic, so I think she would be entertaining during the course of the marriage. Definitely fuck SC Cup. And before I say the K word, let me go to this. What I loved was the clip on Bill Maher when he referred to the Menendez brothers.
Yeah.
And he said they blew their parents' heads off. And their lawyer goes, that's not what happened. He goes, what the fuck happened?
The most lawyery thing ever said.
Right. The guns went off in their direction.
They emptied the guns
in their direction. So let me not say the K word because I just feel as a black man.
Okay,
talking about a white woman, I'm going to get up at my door.
Okay, so you don't have to kill her. You just, okay.
I OJ the bitch. Which would you OJ the bitch? Megyn Kelly. Even though I wouldn't want to. Because, and I was going to say this.
Could you change it though from kill to fuck to hurt?
I love that. Fuck to hurt to the point of death. Yes. Dude, I think Megyn Kelly is so hot, but she's so fucking ignorant at times, racist. But I think she's hot.
Okay, but here's the thing that I and this is where you're going to say this is me trying to be clever or whatever it is. If you don't understand what you're saying, can you be racist or are you just a retarded bigot? The reason I'm saying that, and I said retarded too, to add to it, because you're not trying to keep anybody from succeeding. You just don't even realize.
I see what you're saying. Let me go with that.
Because when she said that thing about blackface and not understanding, and she literally, I mean, when I saw that happening to her,
right,
I was like, oh, this looks like a sheep that's about to be slaughtered.
Right.
Because it was walking into the little slaughtering cage and it's just walking in like, no, why? What does it, how does that? That's what I mean.
Anybody for lamb chops? Right.
But I'm like, did you see it? You saw it, right?
Yeah.
There was no intent to be this person. I wish she knew better.
Right.
But I don't know that person, and maybe she does keep people down. Maybe she can keep people from getting the job that they're looking for. Maybe she does.
I mean, we don't know that.
I'm saying from her position, but I'm saying she did have a higher up position. She had a position that, came with some benefits. So I understand why people would say that's racist, but is it if you're not wielding it that way? If you're wielding stupidity, is it racist? I'm asking.
I would fuck her with a Klan uniform.
I would tell you that I would. She would be my fuck to hurt.
Megyn Kelly.
Yeah, and that would be the first one I want too. That would be.
Who would you marry?
That's the cup chick. Only because I
Really?
like the idea of having. I love smart people to be around. Not that I don't think Sarah Silverman's smart. I think she is smart.
Not smart.
No, I think she's smart.
No, but when you said not that I think she's smart, when you meant to say
Not that I don't think she's not smart. Yeah,
Right.
I think she's smart. I think she's a smart person. But I don't know that I could be with another comic and we're trying to not one up and not do that. And
Yeah.
And so I would love to be with. I would love to hang out with her. I would love so
Right.
yeah. So but
She's so sexy to me, dude.
she is. But that
Ugh.
Essie Cup though. There's something just her normalness is sexy. Just
Right.
how like she's
Right.
smart, but she looks good. She's
Right.
put together well. Yeah, no problem right there.
Now let me flip it. If you had to choose between, well, this is a two-part question. In the same manner, not well, I tell you this. One of these girls, I would definitely fuck to hurt. But if you had to choose between, I love that. Fuck to hurt.
You just want that's a memory
That
for the next
sounds like
day.
some shit Burt Bridgewater would say. Burt Bridgewater. Let me tell you what a real man is. A real man is a guy that pulls his cock out and looks a girl in the face and says, I don't want to kill you, but I'm going to fuck to hurt you. Anyway, Tommy Loren versus Ann Coulter.
Oh, that's easy.
Tommy Loren, right?
Yeah.
Right.
No,
fuck
but-
to hurt.
Yeah, but again,
Ann Coulter looks like it would hurt to fuck.
yeah, Ann Coulter looks very pointy on all the edges.
Right.
But the thing with Ann Coulter,
Which is a body of elbows.
I really like her.
In what sense?
I like from what Bill Maher said, and I have always liked this about her. She doesn't back down.
Oh,
for
no.
nothing.
She got a Florida stand my ground attitude.
Dude, I mean, even when she was on that roast and she was being destroyed on that.
Destroyed. I don't know who took a worse beating, her or my man from Jersey Shore. The situation.
The situation.
At least Jeff Ross got up and helped him.
Yeah.
Put his arm around him and helped him.
But the thing is, Ann Coulter, as beat up as she got, and you could see that I could see that it did. You know,
It took him. It hurt her a little bit.
There was
Right.
there were some shots in there that you knew she felt.
Right.
But it ain't gonna do it. It's not gonna damage her. She'll get up tomorrow and do the same thing.
Absolutely.
The situation.
Right.
He was in a situation.
Yes.
Yes. He wasn't gonna do. He was. That was a whole other piece of work. Ann Coulter. If I was in trouble and I needed someone on my side, and I needed someone out just to defend me, no matter what.
Ann Coulter.
Damn, she ain't gonna back down.
Who's more racist, Tommy Loren or Ann Coulter?
I'm gonna go Tommy.
You know what's funny? And you saw this too. Like when you talk about people who as this young generation would refer to when social media became a thing. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, keyboard warriors. Tommy Loren is the ultimate keyboard warrior because when she was on her own platform and it's just her to camera, this bitch talks a lot of shit. But when she came on real time, it's like she knew she was out of her depth in the waters. She wasn't as vocal. It was even a dude who checked her the way Paul Begala checked the one broad. But where was all that aggression when she's on her own platform? I love the clip of when she went to the Daily Show with Trevor Noah and he destroyed her. Like when she's out of the safety of her racist cocoon, where's all the bravado? Where's the big barking?
The reason I said her though, because I think she kind of I think she's going along with what is happening. Where Ann Coulter, I think, needs to believe it to be able to talk about it. And she says things that I don't agree with.
Right.
But I don't think and listen, I know here, just get your typewriters ready and your computers and whatever phone you want. I don't think she's trying to be racist. I don't think she is trying to be.
Ann Coulter?
I don't think she's trying to be racist. I think that she believes that these are things that she believes in. I don't know that she understands. Damn, I don't even.
For her level of intelligence, she understands.
You think that she understands how this affects the black community?
I don't think she cares. Because if any person that talks the way she talks cared, then that means you've done your homework. You've done your research. You give a shit.
You're
right. Knowledgeable.
You might be right, but Tommy Loren just seems like she knows it. She knows it's wrong, and she's still saying it.
Okay, I'll take that take. I think
that if you asked Ann Coulter to back up why she's saying what she was saying, she could articulate a reason that could be without racism. I don't think you could get that from Tommy Loren. But if I had to go to the prom, I'm taking Tommy.
All day, nigga. All day. I'm not being chaperoned by a scarecrow, nigga. Last thing for me. I'm politically correct when he said he had caught flack from women because whenever women would come on, he would give them a kiss on the cheek. Hey, baby. Hi, doll. Is how I referred to them. Hi, beautiful. And he said that, what did he exactly? He said that you don't have to ask why. If it bothers women, stop doing it. You don't have to ask why. It's not your place to know why. Do you agree? Like, first of all, did you see harm in him going, hey, baby, hi, doll, kissing a woman on the cheek?
Okay, before I answer that question, let me take you someplace else real quick. What's the show that...
I know where you're going.
Richard Dawson.
Yes.
Richard Dawson.
The Steve Harvey does
Family
now.
Feud.
Yes.
It does. When you watch that now, doesn't it look creepy as fuck?
Yes, because he comes off creepy.
Okay.
Bill didn't come off creepy in that.
But also the time that was happening in the 70s when he's doing this, it doesn't seem creepy. But certain things don't age well.
Okay.
And I think that the idea that the male host isn't hugging every man that comes on the show.
Why? Because we're men. We wouldn't do that.
But he's kissing every woman. I don't think that would age well over the years. Because they're not coming on to be kissed. They're coming on as a pundit and someone who has an opinion, someone who's there to have a talk. And why is this being done to the women, but the men have this other level that they're working off of?
Because we're men.
Yeah, I get it. But if you're coming on to do the same, women talk a lot about equal pay. Well,
right.
There should be equal respect when you walk on.
Oh, didn't you love that moment with the comedian, the sexy ugly bitch, Sandra Bernhard?
Yeah,
you will respect me as a woman. She gave it to that motherfucker.
Yeah, but again, she got mad, and when I was watching it,
right,
it doesn't age well, because if she would have said, "Excuse me,"
right.
I'm not going to sit here and listen to you. You are respecting me not because of any other reason, but I'm sitting here next to you because my opinion is just as valid as yours. So sit there and take it.
All right. Say all that to me, but do it with your tits out.
But I just don't think it would have aged well for Bill. And I think Bill had somebody that he respects, a woman that he respects, that probably said, hey, listen, it can be offensive. And you might not feel it, and all your guests may be cool with it, say that they're cool with it, but are they? And do you know how they really feel? And, and then he went, you know what? Because Bill, this is what I like about Bill. He can change his opinion. And I like that because people grow and they change and they move. And I love that he was able to take that out of there because it showed that he is able to do that.
Right.
So I didn't mind it at all. And I do think that it's in this, not even in our where we are today, just that if you're going to have a show and you're going to put women on, and they're going to have the same, they're there for the same reason the guy is. If you ain't kissing the guy, then don't kiss the woman.
Did you see when he said to George Clooney, and this was a young
Yeah,
George
yeah.
Clooney, man, how much tail are you getting?
Yeah.
And George went, I'm not going to talk about it on here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's give out some dates because we got to jump into to the emails.
Dates.
Yeah, folks, check it out, man. Again, if you're already a fan of Real Time with Bill Maher, you're going to love this. If you're not even particularly knowledgeable about the show, it's just good conversation in terms of topics and risque conversation and political correctness and all that shit.
Listen, I think there's better information coming out of there than there is out of the regular news. So
Right.
I may be completely wrong. You might like that MSNBC that gives you a very tilted one side, and you may like Fox News that gives you the other tilted side.
Oh, he's got the fucking
I got a little
the
bit of
Louis.
Yeah, and I pushed the wrong button because of it. Oh, man, where'd it go? There it is. Before we do this, I got to take 30 seconds out.
Yeah.
We didn't last week. We didn't mention that Richard Belzer passed. So one
Rest in peace, Richard Belzer.
Belzer.
I think we did though.
No, and we didn't talk about David from De La Soul passing,
Oh, yes.
which is the most. I can't say it this way. First of all, 3 Feet High and Rising was one of my favorite hip hop albums ever, and it brought me into hip hop. I was already in, but then I heard that and I was like, "This is where this is going. This is amazing." Okay, first that's part of it, but the other part is these guys did not get none of their music was streaming. It was lost in Tommy Boy archives because they couldn't get the rights to it, and he dies a week before this shit comes back out onto the mainstream.
And it sucked too because, I was trying to get them on the podcast. I talked to one of the brothers from De La Soul and he was like, yo, we with it. We just got to figure out schedules. So fuck, it sucks. I mean, we still might be able to do it, but it just,
Well, and that was really important to me. And I never forget going over to Russell Peters' house and him having a bunch of things from De La.
Yeah.
And fuck me, man. That one hurt.
Yeah, they were the Erykah Badu of rap.
Dude, I really, when I saw that, and there's so much jazz that came out of what they were doing in Europe, this kind of new jazz that was, man, they're so influential, and and people aren't, never mind. Just a big shout out to them. May they both rest in peace.
Right, Belzer, yeah.
Yeah, man, and they went about the same time. It's tragic, but it's tragic to us. I hope you guys are resting peacefully, man. And okay, dates. For those who aren't getting to rest, you might still want to come out. When you're listening to this, that's the week we're going to be in Syracuse, New York at the Funny Bone, March 10th and 11th. We're going to be at the Funny Bone in Omaha, March 17th and 18th. We're going to be, Aries going to get so happy when I say this again, in Miami. Miami Improv, March 24th to the 26th. LOL in San Antonio, Texas, March 30th through April 2nd. And then I'm going to go see my son in Arizona. And then April 6th through the 8th, we're going to be at Columbus Funny Bone in Columbus, Ohio. Looking forward to getting back out there. I like Columbus. I mean, I'm in Cincinnati. Yeah. I'm not talking shit about Cincinnati, but Cincinnati, I said this on stage, your airport's in Kentucky. You have a baseball team, you have a football team, you ain't got an airport. Right. What do you guys do? Airdrop these dudes in?
They might.
All right, man. Get a fuck. I'm looking forward to Columbus because I can fly into Columbus.
All right, y'all. That is it, man.
Man?
That's it, man.
Spears and Steinberg.
Thanks for listening to the Spears and Steinberg podcast. If you'd like to know who's responsible for this shit, it was hosted by Aries Spears and Andy Steinberg, produced by Steve Merrick and Anthony Holmes, executive producer, Big Papa, Robert Kelly, and Matt Kleinschmidt for the Laugh Button podcast. For more information on where to find us on the internet, visit SpearsburgPod.com.